Hi guys and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will be talking about Mist of Pandaria Remix and I will explain how you can power up your cloak in a very efficient way. So this is a new addition that Blizzard decided to make to the game simply because they nerfed a lot of the different hyperspawn farms and other ways to get a lot of these different threads and become extremely powerful. And so instead of having these different very OP farms, they decided to add these different spool of threads that will award you with a lot of different threads and a lot of different points for your cloak, and that will then allow you to power up your cloak in a significant way. So as you can see, you have 4 different types of Spool of Eternal Threads. You have the green version that will reward you with 40 threads. Then you have the lesser one that will reward you with 50 threads. Then you have the epic one that will reward you with 100 threads. And then you have the legendary one that will reward you with 180 threads, which is really good. So the first thing you can do in order to get some of these different spools of Eternal Threads is simply killing all the different world bosses across Pandaria. So you have, of course, the Shah of Anger here in the Kunlai Summit. Then on the Isle of Thunder, you have Nalak right here. Then in the Valley of the Four Winds, you have Salvis Warben, which is basically Galleon just here. Then you also have on the Timeless Isle, Ordos right here, and finally on the Isle of Giants you will have Ondasta. And so each time you kill one of these world bosses on a level 70 character, you will be able to receive a legendary version of this different spool of Eternal Threads, which will reward you each time with 180 threads. And I believe this is something you can do on a daily basis. So as you can see, just by doing that already, you will be able to get a lot of these different threads. Then the other thing you can do, and that will also reward you with some legendary Spool of Eternal Threads, is simply completing the 3 daily quests from the Infinite Bazar. So these different Infinite Bazars are where all the different vendors are available. So for instance here, and then you have some in all the different regions. So normally you will be able to see them on the map with this little symbol right here. So when you arrive, basically you will be able to get 3 different quests. The first one, as you can see, is from the scenario, and it will simply require you to complete 1 scenario. Then you also have the one for dungeons, and so here for the dungeons, as you can see, you simply need to kill 3 different bosses, and then like that again you will receive the Spool of Eternal Thread. And then the last one is the looking for more, and here you will simply need to kill 2 raid bosses. So keep in mind, right now for me, of course, the Spool of Eternal Thread that I will get as a reward is the epic version simply because I'm level 61 and not 70. But when you're level 70, you will then be able to get the legendary version. And so just by doing these 3 different quests, you will be able to get 3 more of these different legendary Spool of Eternal Threads. And again, each time they will reward you with 180 thread each. Now, of course, keep in mind, when you're doing all these different activities, you will also receive a lot of different threads from all the different dungeons, raids, and scenarios you will be doing. So this is another good way to get some of them. Then you also have, of course, the different ones you will be able to get when doing the different LFR groups. So for instance, here, if you're doing the dungeon one, again, as I'm level 61, I don't have the epic version, but normally you will receive the epic version of the Spool of Eternal Thread. Same when you're doing the scenario. As you can see here, it will also reward you with one of them. And then, of course, with the different ones for LFR. And so here, as you can see, you will be able to get quite a lot of them by doing all these different things. And so this is definitely something that I would recommend you to do, simply because like that, you will be able to power up your cloak super fast and also get a lot of bronze and other good items, including some good gear. And here again, I would highly recommend you before doing these to take the different daily quests, because like that you will then be able to complete all 3 of these different daily quests. And this is something normally you can do again and again. So for instance, you can just do a few scenarios one after another, and each time you should be able to get the epic version of the Spool of Eternal Threads, which I think again is a really nice way for you to get a lot of bronze and also thread at the same time. Finally, the last category of things you can do in order to get some of these different Spool of Eternal Thread is simply by doing the one-time achievements. So if you want the legendary version, you will be able to get them when doing the different campaign quests. Then also when you're doing all the different heroic raids. So here you will be able to get that as a reward when completing the achievements. Then for normal and NFR raiding, you will be able to get these two epic versions right here. For the different world bosses, you will be able to get the green one. For heroic dungeons, you will be able to get the blue one. For zone tour, which is basically exploration, I believe, or maybe something different, you will be able to get the epic one. Then for heroic scenario, you will be able to get the blue one. For the normal scenario, the green one. For all the different achievements linked to rares and treasures, the blue one. And finally, for exploration, the green one. And then reputation, the epic one. So again, as you can see, you will be able to get a lot of these when doing all these different achievements and when doing all these activities. And if you're wondering what is supposed to happen if you already completed all these different achievements, I believe that normally you should be able to still get them. And I'm pretty sure Blizzard will send them to you, all these different Spool of Eternal Threads, in your mailbox directly. But this is something that still needs to be confirmed because it hasn't happened yet. So that's pretty much it for today's video. And basically here, as you can see, each time you learn one of these different spool, it will increase one of the random stats. So this is also something important to keep in mind. But anyway, I would really encourage you to do that if you want to power up your cloak and if you want to also get a lot of bronze and all these type of things. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye.